Hello everyone, this is J5 and welcome to Covered by Central Toy Review. And today I'll be looking at the 2008 release by Hasbro of the G.I. Joe celebrating the 25th anniversary action figure review. And today's action figure review, I'm looking at the firefighter called Barbecue. Now I got this straight from eBay. That cost me 35 ringgit with shipping. Now, I would have gotten this earlier in a toy shop that was available in the toy shop near my area back in 2008, but by the time I managed to get into the 25th anniversary line for the G.I. Joe toy line itself, it was all sold out, so I have to resort on getting this straight from eBay. Now, let's take a look at the front portion of the packaging itself. We got a nicer artwork of Barbecue on one side. Now, the artwork here bears similarities to the original figure that was released in 1985, except the original 1985 artwork, the uniform itself is painted in red. In this version is now in orange. Very nicely done with the artwork style itself, because it's quite nicely done with the similarities of the 1985 artwork, and the details are very nicely done as well. Inside the plastic bubble we have the figure Barbecue, and he is, well, surrounded by his accessories. On one side here we have his fire axe. On this section here we have the nozzle gun attached with the tubing, and at the bottom we have the foam tanks, and behind the figure is the base stand. Now, behind the packaging itself, top section here showcase the previous releases for the 2008 line, as you can see here. At the bottom section here we have a nice little classic profile card for Barbecue, and here on one section we have a nicer image of Barbecue. Now, the top section that's stated as firefighter, codename Barbecue. File name Kelly Gabriel A. Primary military specialty firefighter. Secondary military specialty infantry. Birthplace Boston, Massachusetts. Grade E4. Now, in the write-up stated, if Kelly hadn't joined the G.I. Joe team, he would have been the 7th Kelly in his direct line in the Boston Fire Department. His love for the job is not based on family loyalty or even a general sense of duty. He simply likes riding on the back of the truck with the wind in his face and sirens wailing, lights flashing and bells clanging. Being allowed to knock down doors and smash windows with his axe is just a frosting on the cake. Very interesting. Still doesn't explain why he joined the G.I. Joe team, considering, well, he's a firefighter. Now, at the bottom section, someone quoted, Barbecue is what you call a basic party animal. He can open bottles with his teeth, pick up quarters with his ears, and wrap his lips completely around the bottle of a quartz soft drink bottle. You may well ask how all of this affects his function as a G.I. Joe team's firefighter. It doesn't. It simply makes him a more interesting fellow to have around. Quite interesting to know this regarding about the Barbecue character. Now, without further ado, let's open up the packaging itself. As you can see, I'm trying to adjust the packaging so it doesn't slip down. Let's open up this packaging so we can molest the figure. Be right back. And we're back of the removing figure, and there is some stuff out from the packaging. Now let's take a look at the Barbecue's accessories, starting off with the base stand there. It comes with a nice little base stand of a 25th anniversary G.I. Joe base stand. Got a nice little G.I. Joe logo on the top with 2 pegs for the figure to stand on. Nameplate there stated as codename Barbecue. At the back portion of the base stand, at the bottom section there stated as N2007 Hasbro, made in China. Now, Barbecue here doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but during that time when Barbecue figure came out in 2008, these accessories are specifically unique to the figure itself, which is very nice. First, we have the tubing itself. The tubing is actually made of black plastic material. Very flimsy material, as you can see there, and 2 ends you can actually connect the pegs for the items itself. One would be the nozzle gun, as you can see the peg here, and the other one would be the foam tank. So I put the tubing on one side. We have here the nozzle gun, and you can see that the entire thing is made of a dark grey plastic material with no paint job at all, and the details are so simplistic to the point that the nozzle gun don't even have a trigger at all. So that's a little bit disappointing, but then again, this was released in 2008. Peg at the back for connecting the tubing itself. Here at the top section now we have the nozzle itself, and that's about it. Not a lot of details actually. Now it actually fits quite well onto the figure's right hand. If you fit this nozzle gun to the left hand, it barely even gripping it. So you might need to use the hot water trick to try to close the hands a little bit more for him to actually wield the nozzle gun and the fire axe properly. Here we have the fire axe, and the fire axe is a very nice detailed accessory, as you can see here, made of a dark grey plastic material color, and the tip of the blade itself is painted in silver. Very nice. Details is very simple, but it's still very nice accessory. There's a bit of rivet details on the bottom section of the entire head of the axe itself. At the bottom section we have the handle with the handguard, but at the outer section of the handguard itself there's actually 3 tiny little bumps. Very hard to notice actually. Those bumps is actually spikes. I really wish that the spikes are more noticeable. It's really hard to notice there's even any spikes at all. If you look at straight like so, you barely even notice anything, as you can see. And yes, it fits very well on the right hand, but not at all on the left hand. It's way too, on the left hand is way too loose. Here we have the shoulder piece armor, which is made of a dark grey plastic material with no paint job, as you can see here. Very simple detail, almost non-existent, as you can see. We have some seams of the armor pad itself, but nothing that special. All you have to do is just pop the head off from the figure and remove the armor piece, and you're done. Also a unique accessory for barbecue. Finally, we have the foam tank. Now the foam tank, like the original 1985 barbecue figure, is actually 2-piece material, which is quite obvious to you right now if you're watching this, because the gas tank here is a the foam tank is a separate piece here, and the entire thing is made of a dark grey plastic material, as you can see, but the foam tank has been painted in orange, as you can see that. And the back portion of the backpack itself, there's a smaller peg here to connect to the figure's back. The details are quite nicely done on the bottom section. A little bit of tubing there, very nicely done. Very simple, but still very nice. Got the smaller peg here to connect the black tubing there, which connects to the nozzle gun. Very nice. And that's all the accessory that is for barbecue. Now let's take a look at barbecue's paint job. Now majority of the parts here you see are not painted at all. Now the colors are quite simple. It's basically orange, dark grey, silver, black, and that's about it. No other paint job, no other colors, just orange, dark grey, silver, black. And majority of the orange parts, as you can see there, are not even painted at all, like the arms. The entire arms for the orange parts are not painted. So we have here is a smallest logo there, painted in silver. Pouch, the smaller pouch here is painted in dark grey. So that's on the other side, with the straps as well. The torso area here, as you can see, the strappings now are painted in dark grey. The entire torso is made of a orange plastic material color. This piece here, this entire tank here, is not part of the body itself. is actually a separate piece that actually glued onto the body. And for my version here, this one is not very well secure. The glue is not very well secure, as you can see there. Now for the waist section now, the orange parts are not painted, but the belt is painted in dark grey, which is very nicely done. Really wish they put more paint job onto the belt buckle, like silver paint job there. The tie section, the entire ties are painted for the straps, and as you can see, the straps and the front pouches, but not the side mechanical parts. As you can see, that's pure dark grey plastic material color that's added on to the sides of the ties itself. And the ties, of course, the orange parts are not painted, so does the kneecaps. However, for the lower legs are made of a dark grey plastic material color. This section just below the knee is actually painted in orange. The side of the boots here, as you can see, the buckle there is painted in silver, so that's on the other side. The entire boots is made of a dark grey plastic color, but the bottom section of the boots are painted in black. And finally, we have the entire head, but I also forgot to show everyone. They also painted the neck section with a flesh tone skin. Very nice. The entire head is made of a dark grey plastic material color. Visor there painted in black, and well, the front piece of the face itself is painted in silver. Very, very nice. Despite very simple paint job, but with this kind of detailed paint job going on, it actually makes the barbecue look really nice and not too cheap. Now let's take a look at the figures mold. Now majority of parts are not really new at all. The torso, waist, entire pair of arms, including the hands there, and the thighs and kneecap are not new at all. They actually belong to the 25th anniversary snow job. Except for the tie section, the side of the tie, they actually have, well, they replaced the gun holster off snow job and replace it with another piece here. So this piece is unique to barbecue, as you can see. The only thing new, well, sort of new during that time, the only thing that's unique for the mold itself, it will be the head, the lower legs, and the feet. And those parts are actually unique and only existed during that time for the 25th anniversary, until they reused barbecues in, well, majority of the body parts, and well, basically turn it into another figure for the Desert Assault Extreme Assault Squad, for the Flamethrower Viper. Yes, they basically reuse the torso, the waist, and the entire legs for the figure itself, including the arms as well. But the head, they change it into a Cobra Viper head. We have the goggle. Now, the mold is actually quite nicely done. Especially, I really like the head mold. It actually shows the character itself. And the chest piece, I would say the oxygen tank is actually very nice. The side of the ties itself, the mechanical devices are very nicely done with the details as well. Because one side here, you got a smaller antenna. Very nice. Very nicely done with the details. The straps, wrinkles, very nice. Now, let's take a look at the figure's articulation. The head actually can pivot up and down, side to side, very tiny a little bit, and then 360 degrees. Also here it can move forward, back a little bit, side to side a little bit, and turn 360 degrees. Shoulder joints here can turn 360 degrees, and lift the arms this high. Elbow joint here can bend forward, back a little bit, and turn 360 degrees. But the elbow joints are a little bit limited by bending this far. But you don't actually need to have the figure bend so much. The other side is alright, as you can see. considering that he doesn't have a lot of accessories, so you don't need him to bend the elbow that far ahead. Wrist joint here turn 360 degrees. Now the hip joints here move forward, but it tends to spread the legs apart. As you can see, I already have the legs standing forward, as you can see here. The moment you have it push upwards, it tends to spread the legs pretty far. So having this figure sit on any vehicle for the G.I. Joe line itself is rather pain actually. So it's quite sad. You can't have the figure sit in any of the vehicles which has a very tight cockpit or very tight spacing area, as you can see in the legs length. So the legs is also able to bend back a little bit and to the sides. Double jointed knee that barely able to bend far at all because due to the really bulky lower legs and thigh itself. And ankle joint that pivot downwards, upwards, and turn 360 degrees. And finally, there's one thing that I wanted to complain. As you can see, the leg here, one side is longer, the other one. Hasbro always have this kind of problem with the G.I. Joe figures, that some of the figures won't have this problem, or at least majority of the figures won't have this problem, but some of the figures will encounter this kind of problem. One leg will be longer than the other one, so it's rather pain to see this. Now let's fully equip Barbecue with all the accessories, starting off with the armor parts here. The foam tank. Have him equipped with the X, considering that the left hand can't even hold the X properly at all. Connect the tubing and the nozzle gun. Have him equip the nozzle gun, and there you have it. He is all prepped up and ready to extinguish fires. Something that I really don't understand. Why would they include a fireman in a military army? Anyways, this is the fully equipped Barbecue. Now the figure is actually quite nicely done. I really like the details of some of the parts. The paint job is actually nicely done, although there are a little bit of smudge there, especially on the lower leg section. Just below the knee section, the orange part has been painted, but some of the orange paint job managed to bleed onto the boots itself, just on the top edge of the section. But this is just only one section here, back portion as well. There's a little bit of bleeding, but not really that bad. Not to the point that is so obvious. And then another problem is that the left hand can't even wield the nozzle gun properly. As you can see, it starts to pop out a little bit. It can't even hold the fire axe properly, as you can see now with the left hand. Can't even hold the fire axe at all. And another problem is that the legs itself, one leg is longer than the other one, so posing this figure is also another problem. And having the figure sit on any vehicles at all is also pose a problem because it spreads the leg quite far. So if I'm going to give a rating on Barbecue, it's still a very nice figure. At least, it's at least better colored compared to the Rise of Cobra version of Barbecue, which is mostly in yellow and black and gray and silver. Just changing the orange to yellow actually. So I actually prefer the original color of Barbecue. So if I'm going to give a rating of Barbecue here, I'm saying I'll give it a nice 7 out of 10. Yes, 7 out of 10 for the 25th anniversary Barbecue. I thank you all for watching. This is Lucy05 and I'm signing off.